So running the VAR in Stata. So the first thing is that you load the data, and then the next thing is that you set up the time series structure, and then the third thing is that you visualize the data. This is always the first critical steps whenever you are running the analysis. It is always important to, if it is a time series analysis, you have to set the time. One variable is a time, and you also have to visualize the data so that you can be able to see the data that you have before you even carry out any other particular analysis. So I'll go to my software, and first of all is that I will clear the interface. I hope you can be able to see.
Yes, we can.
Good. So now I'll import the data. I have already created this data and uploaded. I have uploaded it into the system. And remember, whenever you are importing the data, it is important to check this one, that you import the first rows as variable names. Then you click OK. Immediately you import and you check on the variable section, you can be able to see the values or the variables that we have. We just have three variables: date, stock, and interest rate. We are just using the examples that we have been using. And the first thing that you do is that you click on this data editor browse so that you can be able now to see your data. You can see you have date, you have stock, and you have interest rate. And the data is from 1st January 2025. It's a daily data up to 10th April 2025. I have simulated 100 observations of stock prices and interest rates. So that is the first thing. The second thing that we need to do is to set this date as the date variable. So you need to come to statistics. Remember, we are dealing with the time series data. It is data collected over time. So you go to time series, then you go to set up utilities, and then declare data set to be time series data. You click on that, and then here you select your date. And then it is important to use the format of time variable to avoid errors. And then you click OK. So having done that, you can see the code here. TS set date. The date variable has been set into time. Having done that, now we go to the next step. I believe it is visualizing the data. Yes. You go to statistics. There are various ways you can be able to visualize the data. You can use the graphics. You use the graphics. You can use these two-way graphs, or you can use the time series graphs. This one here. I prefer to use the time series graphs. And then when this window pops up, you click create. Definitely you need to do the time series plots. And there are different plots that you can do. You can do scatter, connected, area, bar, spike, drop line, all these. But for this case, we want to see line, we want to see the trend. And then you can put your first variable, which is stock. You click accept, you click OK. And then that variable is drawn like that. You can see the changes over time between 100 to 250. This is stock prices. Between 1st January 2025 to 1st around April 2025. So you can be able to tell the graph. And if you want to edit the graph, you can click on File and start graphic editors. At that point, you can be able to change anything that you want. For instance, if you want to change the title, you can just click here, this title. And when you click title, you can be able to type your title, that is, these are stock prices. So stock prices over time, and then you click OK, and then the title appears. You can be able to change many things. So that is what you do for the first thing. Let's also visualize. Let's delete this one. Don't save. Let's visualize the. We go to time series. We go to line plots. Or we edit. But this time round, we want to see the interest rate. You click accept. You click OK. And you can see the behavior of the interest rate. This one does not have a trend. It is fluctuating within an average of 5 interest rate level. So that is the graph. So now you have an idea of how your data looks like. You are sure that one has a trend, it is upward moving. The other one does not seem to have a trend. So having understood your data, we go to the next step. We go to unit root test. So this unit root test, I will not do it too much. I will not dive into it too much because it's a comprehensive topic covered in the next topic, the unit root test. This is where you try to test whether your data is stationary or not. So I have indicated covered in the next topic. So I'll just carry out the analysis and explain what happens in case we have a unit root test. So for this one, I have written to check the stationarity of the data. If you check this one, if you check this interest rate data, you can see it does not have a trend. It is not upward moving. It is not downward moving. It is fluctuating within a particular range. So this one does not have a trend. But if you look at, let's run, if you look at the other one, right, plus edit, in this case we use stock, accept, you click OK, you can see there is a trend. It is upward moving. So this is an upward trend. Yeah. So when you are carrying out the analysis of time series data, we don't need such data. We always tend to remove this particular trend because if a data has a trend, then we say it is non-stationary. We say it has a unit root. So this one is very important. If we carry out an analysis with a data like this, which has a trend, there is a high probability that your output, your results, will be biased, or you have what we call a spurious regression. So that one is things that we are going to discuss in the next topic. How do you carry out a unit root test? So we are saying, note, in this time series, the data should generally be stationary before you run financial models such as ARIMA, VAR, OLS. So we are saying that the data should be stationary. Yeah, it should not be like this. It should not have a trend like this. It should be stationary, like the one we saw in the case of interest rates. So stationarity generally means no observable trend. There is no trend. Something we don't have such a trend. This trend is not appropriate when you are carrying out an analysis. If a time series is found to be non-stationary, such as stock prices, the one that I have shown you, it is usually transformed. And to transform it, you most commonly use what we call differencing to achieve stationarity before we can go to modeling. So to test stationarity, I have included the steps there. So we go to come here, go to statistics, we go to time series, we go to tests, we go to augmented Dikifura test. We use this one. You click there, and we put one by one. You can start by stock. Click OK, and then the results will be displayed. You can see this is Dikifura test for stock. We are carrying out the stationarity test for stock, and you check this value here, this p-value. This p-value, if this p-value is greater than 0.05 at 95% confidence level, then we say that that data has a unit root, has a unit root. It is not stationary, and therefore we need to differentiate so that it becomes stationary. So the most important thing to check is this one. You check whether this one is greater than 0.05. If it is less than 0.05, then we say that that data does not have a unit root and it is therefore stationary. Another thing you can check is also this. You can either use the p-value or you can compare the test statistic with the three critical values, either 1%, 5%, or 10%. So you compare the absolute values of test statistic with the other ones. If test statistics is less than all the others, or the absolute values of test statistics is less, then we say that data has a unit root. Let's now test the unit root for.
Please repeat that one. You said if it has less.
Sorry.
There is a statement on interpretation. You said that if the Z statistics is less than what?
If the absolute values of test statistics, this one 0.429,
Yes.
if it is less than all the others, than 1% critical values, 5% critical values, 10% critical values, the absolute values, then that data has a unit root.
Okay.
If it is greater, then that data does not have a unit root. And if you find that one to be quite confusing, just use the p-value. Compare this p-value with 0.05%. If the p-value is greater than 0.05, then we say that we have a unit root. And what we mean by a unit root?
So both of them will point towards the same direction.
Yeah, they just give the same results. You just choose one.
That's okay.
So now let us test for the interest rate. We put interest rate there, we click OK. So now we have a contrary result in this case because the absolute value of test statistic is greater than 3, 2, and 2. The same case here, we can see that the p-value here is less than 0.05. And that one means that we don't have a unit root. In other words, this data is stationary. We don't have a problem of stationarity in this case. So in this case, we say that stock prices have a problem, but interest rates are fine. And that one is clearly demonstrated by the graph that we have. You see, this one has a trend. And because it has a trend, then it has a unit root problem. So the way to solve such a problem is that we differentiate the data. But for this particular analysis, we are not going to go to that step. We shall carry out in the next class or in the next topic. So we leave it like that. So now we go to step 5, estimation of VAR model. So when you come to estimation of the VAR model, we said that the first step is the choice of the lag length. We choose the number of lags. That is the first step. We carry out the analysis to determine the number of lags, which we are going to include in the model itself. So how do we check the lag length? So we go back to our software, we click statistics, but for this time, we go to multivariate time series. Then we go to VAR diagnostics and tests. Then you can see there is somewhere written lag ordered selection statistics pre-estimation. Pre-estimation. Before you carry out the estimation, you click on that. And you can include the maximum lag number that you want. Generally, you just put 4. And then you put your variables that we have, the dependent variable, or the variables that you are checking. In this case, we have stock and interest rate. Just put all of them together, and then you click OK. And then the results are displayed like that. So now you check based on what we discussed earlier. For this case, we can go by AIC and BIC. And you can see they have given that the lowest for AIC, which is 6.67, it is lower than 6.7, 6.7, 6.7. It is the lowest. So it has been marked by a star. When you go to this BIC, 6.8 is the lowest of all the others. So both of them gives the same lag length of 1. Remember here it is written lag. All these others, LL, LR, DF, P, LL, LR, FPE, AIC, QIC, all these are different criteria. You can also see the FPE also gives lag length 1. So it is recommended to choose lag length 1 because it is the one recommended by 4 different criteria. In that case, now we know our lag length. Our lag length is 1. So we can write that our lag length in this case, we have lag 1. So lag 1 is written like that. You can see. So now when you are going to run our VAR, we shall include a lag length of 1. So that is what we are talking about here. Choose the number of lags. Then after knowing the number of lags, we go to the estimation of the VAR model. This one is quite simple. We go to statistics. We go to multivariate time series. You do the basic VAR. Now, we already know that our lag length is 1. So you put lag length 1 here. You put lag length 1. And in this case, you put your dependent variables there, stock, interest rate. Then we also need to see the IRF. Remember, we have talked about the impulse response function. We have talked about the impulse response function here. We also need to see the impulse response function. So when you are running the analysis, is that table? You put IRFs so that it will give us the results of VAR and it will also generate the IRFs. So after doing that, and also here you include the number of periods that you need, but generally we'll have 8 periods. You can include 10 periods. 10 periods means, these periods means the future forecast that you want to see. So then you click OK. And then you have the results. Let me expand this a bit. Let me also expand